Hey guys, welcome back to the Learning Conjugate YouTube channel. Today is dynamic effort day in the bench press. So we're doing flat bench against mini bands for 9 triples, 3 grips. So the first grip is the thumb. You can see I extend my thumbs. The thumb's touching the smooth. The second grip is pinky finger on the rings. And the third grip is ring finger on the rings. My normal, you would call it competition style bench press, would be middle finger on the rings. So these are all closer grips than what I would normally use, like if it was trying to hit a max effort regular bench press. I don't go close grip anymore, like index finger on the smooth part or anything like that, because I started to have some shoulder pain with that, and my shoulders just got pretty beat up, and I don't think that's something I want to continue to do. You know, you talk to a lot of the old heads in the gym a lot of times. They'll talk about how they can't do flat bench anymore. They can't use a barbell on the bench press anymore. And typically it's going to be some kind of shoulder or rotator cuff, pec injury. And so I think anything you can do to kind of help your shoulders survive bench pressing is probably a good thing. So I don't go ultra close anymore, like what people would probably just call a close grip anymore. My close grips are, not as close as some people. So anyway, we're using, again, the doubled mini bands, 80 pounds a band. This is some warm-ups. I did sets of 10 just with the bar with each grip position, and then sets with the band, sets of 10, I think, with the band in each grip position, then added 135 and did some triples there. And now we're on to our working sets. So this is grip 1. We have 185 here on the bar. Plus the 80 in band, so I think that's like 265 at the top, 40 pounds out at the bottom due to band shrinkage, so it'd be like 225 at the bottom. And yeah, so that's what we're doing today. So this is ring finger on the ring. You can tell the hands are a little wider. Maybe the weight's even moving a little better. Sorry, that was pinky finger on the ring, not ring finger. 3 triples there, and then here I think this is where we add 20. Is that right? No, I think it's still 185. Yeah. 3 triples there, and then, we had 20 here on the outside. So this is 205, again, plus the 80 in bands for three triples. This is something that I got from Ryan Kennelly. He was always, I think, an advocate of doing each grip in its own, set of 3, and then moving your hands out and moving your hands out. And when your hands go out, one of the old rules of thumb is if your hands go out an inch, it's like taking 20 pounds off the bar. So you got to add more weight. I guess you don't have to, but that's the way Kennelly does it, so that's the way I'm doing it. Because, if it works for him, hopefully it'll work for me. So after the speed sets, 9 triples, we move to incline dumbbells. So these are 65-pound dumbbells. Just doing sets of 20 here. Again, nothing super challenging. You can call this bodybuilding or just working on the front delts. Me personally, I think I said this last week, I'll say it again. I think at the bottom position of the bench press, the most important muscle group is the front delt. Probably the first, let's say, if you had it like in a percentage, it'd be like the first 30% of the bench press is a lot of front delt. After that, I think it's mostly tricep as far as the main movers go. Of course, there's pecs and upper back and things like that. By the way, it's 75 pounds for a set of 20, and then we go to 85 at the end here. But yeah, I think most of the bench is triceps. If you talk about percentage of how far the bar moves, if the range of motion on your bench press is 16 inches, let's say, probably 12 inches of that is going to be tricep involvement or mostly tricep movement. But the first 4-ish inches, like the bottom, is going to be a lot of front delts. So it's good to have strong front delts if you want to bench press. I know Louis Simmons talked about Jim Williams and the plate raises he would do back in the 1960s and how he made those famous. I mean, it's a front delt exercise. So Jim benched 675 back in the 1960s, I think. So, I mean, how can you go wrong, right? After that, we go to these are incline JM presses, kind of the old way. That's 185. So I did 4 sets of 6. Again, that's kind of the old way that J.M. Blakely would teach it, and I think Dave Tate also taught it that way for a long time. People have kind of changed the form, I think, to some degree on J.M. presses. But to me, if you can, the form you want is the form you can use the most weight with. So I don't stress too much about a J.M. press and range of motion or things like that, because the idea with a J.M. press is, if you're worried about range of motion, just do a skull crusher. you know, because you get way more range of motion out of a skull crusher. The problem with skull crushers is you can't use that much weight. So the idea is to kind of cheat the skull crusher movement and add more weight to the bar, kind of combining close grip bench and a skull crusher. So after that, we go to lat pull downs. Nothing too scientific about that, just trying to get some bodybuilding in for the lats. And then finish with these bamboo bar bench presses, just 100 pounds on the bar. I think it was 3 sets of 30 here. Again, just trying to work on the stabilizers and the front delts and get some front delt work in. So that's the workout, guys. Appreciate you checking it out, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.